Well,
Yes.
Here we go. Let's just see how many we get as Libertas and the Last Resort kick it off. A pair of, by the way, pair of 1-1 teams trying to go to 2-1 and get to within a series of reaching the second stage of the European Regional. Last Resort got there last time, but again, didn't have their full roster for the second stage. And you gotta imagine the hunger's gotta be there to kind of run it back here, because they were, I think, the big surprise in the first regional.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the Last Resort get to stage 2 and then have to suffer going through with a sub, going down, being swept 3 times, one of them being a perfect sweep by Singularity as well, it was really upsetting to see. I mean, you can think what you want about them having to use a sub, but it's a disappointment, I think, for everybody involved. But that goal is not by any stretch of the imagination, as Mike Boy sets us off strong.
Yeah, they get a demo from Rizex and then the bump right there, I think. Well, maybe not. I thought Rizex might have got a piece of the last defender. Either way, it goes in for Mike Boy, bar down, and Libertas strikes first. Of course, the poor sub for Last Resort a few weeks ago, no player was blown up more often than Sludge last week. You kind of felt bad at some point. But on the other hand, it's like, hey, welcome to the RLCS, rookie.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of poetic in a way that he had to stand in, and they got pretty much destroyed in every single matchup. They had 32 goals against them, and they only scored 10 in 9 matches, and they were 3 series. It was really rough. Hoping that we can see the Last Resort have a much more convincing run through stage 1 and eventually stage 2 as well, but Libertas wanting to be one of the many speed bumps they're going to face on the way.
Rezi setting up Boy School Q. No, cannot make the connection. So it's Mike Boy around Sebadam, and a chance now for Rizex with a blast right into the net.
Libertas, though, man, they're coming out strong here. Rizex wanting to learn from his hero Sebadam, and instead scores against him. Second goal now for Libertas. They take the lead by 2.
And there was not much of any kind of wall dash after that goal from Rizex. I think he's given up on the whole learning from Sebadam thing. That shot's high is cleared by Mike Boy, but Rezi is giving it right back to Mike. Does have a full take of boost, and he may need it to get downfield in a hurry as Boy School Q will take this himself. I thought he was going to leave that for a teammate. It didn't work out that way, and Rix Ronde taken out of the play. Sebadam will come up. Boy School Q is lurking, and a double commit has opened things up. They have to score here, and they do.
Boy School Q scaring every single Last Resort fan there by just slowing it down, crossbarring it, and then having to get the dunk on Rizex. But the first goal coming in for the Last Resort, and it's a good one. An outplay of 2 players after Libertas make a mistake.
So it goes 2-1. Still Libertas in front, but for how long? Sebadam looking to force this through. It's off the backboard cleanly, and Boy School Q shot blocked away by Rizex. Here's Rix Ronde. Rezi's got to get back there in a hurry. He just barely does, and managed to bounce that past the oncoming Mike Boy. Ate a demo for his efforts, but at least Last Resort able to clear the zone for a moment. Rix Ronde going near side on the shot, and that threw the entire defense for a loop.
Seb blocking the ball, yes. Blocking it well, no. He just stops it near the goal line. Rizex can blow on it and it will go in. The third goal separating these 2 teams by 2 now. Libertas taking more of a lead.
Again, all sweeps so far on this stream with all our matches, and if this continues, who knows? At least Last Resort have put up a spirited fight in game 1. Downfield for Rezi, only 1 man to beat is Mike Boy. He's going to have to wait for Boy School Q shot, and it's the crossbar yet again, as we've seen so often today, making yet another save. Rix Ronde, he had jumped so early, so he couldn't get any power on the save, but the rebound still does not break through. And right now, Libertas have got to feel like they are absolutely playing with fire, waiting to get burned, and very fortunate that they haven't been yet. I mean, somebody just... use the nose of the car. It tends to hit the ball a little harder. Everybody's just kind of tapping the ball around. Little tap dance here. There's a good shot from Boy School Q that was saved. Bertrande's got a good clear downfield. And I feel like almost repeating what we were saying in the previous series. Just, hey, throw some bodies forward. See what happens.
Yeah, I think that's what's lacking at the moment. I mean, it's not like Last Resort have been lacking chances, though. I think that's the difference.
Not.
They've had a lot of opportunities, and it's not even been that the defense on the side of Libertas has been particularly incredible. I mean, it's been fine. It's done the job, absolutely, but it's not as if they're rocking some insane montage-worthy saves at all. I mean, they're definitely more impressive offensively, but yeah, I think a couple more goals should have gone in from Last Resort here by their own merit.
There have been 7 shots from Boy School Q, and that pass was right almost on the money, just off from Rezi, and that is how Game 1 will come to a close, where they had an opportunity to give themselves a shot at a kickoff goal. Instead, that goes by the wayside, and Libertas will hang on for Game 1.
Yep, Game 1 looking as if the Libertas side made somewhat of an error not making it through originally over in the first regional. But Last Resort, a lot more that they can deliver here. Is there something, Stacks, aside from the fact that our main advice is, hey, let's just score more goals. Is there any more advice that we could give them to actually make that advice have a little bit more weight?
For Last Resort, hey, just keep feeding Boy School Q. Eventually, these shots are going to find their mark. He had 1 goal from, again, 7 shots in that opening game. You have to imagine that that won't repeat itself. Now, he will probably not get 7 shots in the next game. I would imagine Libertas is going to look at things and go, hey, we should probably get in front of this guy a little sooner. But... keep feeding them. Eventually, the shots are going to find their way to the net. And I would imagine Last Resort is a team that is not going to back down in this series.
Yeah, I'd like to see some more ingenuity when it comes to shooting as well. Because right now, like you said, it does seem as if they are. Their main thing is feed Boy School Q and see if that works. Right now, to be honest, it's sort of not. He's hitting the crossbar often. He's hitting posts often. And it's not necessarily the worst thing ever. If there was a Last Resort player that was following up behind and there was somebody who's actually making sure that then when it does hit the crossbar, then they're able to finish it. I think a close shadow would help the Last Resort get a lot more goals here. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only way to do it though. So maybe closer shadows will see a lot more success for the Last Resort.
You won't believe this after watching that last game and seeing how many opportunities that Boy School Q had generated for him. Per game, he's the lowest scorer in the tournament so far.
I mean, he had lots of opportunities, but he didn't really score. What's his percentage like, out of interest?
Not good. 8%. One goal.
I regret asking.
And before, that's going into this series.
Yeah.
1 goal from 12 shots in the first couple of series. So what did he have? 7 there. So he's got 19 shots and 2 goals to show for it. But it looks bad. It looks really bad.
It looks bad. It sounds bad. It is bad.
They were high quality opportunities, and I think, especially in that last game, it goes to the defense of Libertas, because they did have to make a couple really good saves against some of his efforts. Yes, also the post and crossbar helped. Yeah. But again, I don't think that they can rely on someone like Boy School or this entire Last Resort team getting that many chances, that many good chances, and only coming away with the 1 goal.
I think that's the thing. A lot of the chances that Boy School Q was afforded were good chances. He wasn't just rolling it out of the net or getting a 50 towards the goal and then it counted as a shot just because that's how the game works. No, they had decent space. He did send it hard at the net. It was just the final... It was the last 5% that was just missing consistently. But, I mean, not to talk about Boy School Q too much. Let's talk about the Libertas defense. Because I said earlier in that game that there wasn't that many saves. Looking back at the numbers at the end, they did get 10 saves between them. There were 7 for one player. Can't remember who that was. Don't know if you wrote that down at all. But there were 10 saves for one Libertas player. And that's pretty decent. They were putting up a good defensive effort against the last resort. I was impressed with them, I think, in the end, but they were not the deciding factor by any means. They need to tighten it up more in the midfield. Challenge earlier on, and you then won't need to have all of those saves being registered. That's one of the things that you need to consider. Because the save is registered doesn't mean the team is doing well defensively. It just means that they had shots on net that then they had to save.
Both of these teams, I do believe, averaging nearly 5 saves a game. Actually, well over 5 saves for Libertas, just a little bit under for Last Resort. There are two teams that have had to play a ton of defense. Rix Ronde is back in the lobby. That's why we were waiting. He was having some internet issues of his own. Looked like his... Let's see. Yeah, he was having some issues both in-game and with his comms, so it was definitely on his end, but it looks like we are ready to go. The players are all back in, and you're going to see a lot less of us in about 15 seconds or so as we get set for game number 2. Again, Libertas did take that opening game 3-1, and boy, these players are going to take their time. They're make that 15-second prediction go by the wayside. Hey, here they are. All right, Rizex with a pair of goals. Can he keep it going? For Libertas, they look to take a 2-game lead in this series. A Sebadom will dazzle on the wall. Yay! There it is. And it's all for naught as the ball is cleared away, and Rix Ronde will try to get the scoring started for Libertas.
Honestly, mate, we can call it here. We've seen what we came to see. We've seen the Sebadash. We need to see no more.
And now we need to see Seba goals. Lots of them.
It doesn't work quite as well.
It really doesn't. Boy School Q intercepted by Rizex, so Sebadam has to take over. Going to the wall, trying to challenge against Mike Boy. Then kind of a late call off there for Sebadam away, so he'll be a little slow in his rotation for a moment. Can Libertas take advantage? No, looks like a big clear coming from Seb. Ball dropped down a little unexpectedly, and right now, Last Resort, they're holding their own, but they'll seem a little shaky on both ends of the field. They're moving a little slowly because I don't think the communication is quite what it needs to be.
Yeah, a couple of times where there've been a player called off, and then there's also been a couple of times when a player has gone when they definitely shouldn't have done, and Mike Boy 100% should have scored that fully open net. Isn't quite able to, but now the pressure continues in central to Riggs, but Riggs can't finish it either.
Rix Ronde trying to get a piece of any defenders he can on his way through. I think he was going after 2 different guys. Now Rezi downfield, right there is Mike Boy. Abaddon, big drive. That one is high off the mark, and it registers as a shot without a save. Now back the other way. Boy School Q's got to get this just ahead of Rix Ronde, but now drop down to Rizex, and Rezi is right there for the save. Last Resort, near miss there. Remains scoreless, but they've got to tighten things up a little bit defensively as Rix Ronde has nobody to pass to, and Boy School Q will set up for Sebadam. Goes off of Rezi, back to Boy School Q. Rix Ronde has all day to play this, and can't find a teammate with that ball, so easily sent back, and now we just kind of play this waiting game back and forth to see who's going to blink first in game 2.
Looking at like Rizex and Mike Boy want to link up, forcing the Last Resort to blink first. A lot of time elapsed though, but before that first goal does go in, Rizex finding Mike Boy who can send it below Sebadam.
second goal of the series for Mike Boy, and that's good enough for the lead in the series. Again, you expect low-scoring games, especially in this 1-1 bracket. If the series is going to be close, I think for the Last Resort, they have to play this very slow, methodical, defensive, grinded-out type of series. Very similar to a team like we saw in the previous series with Barrage. Here's Rezi taking his time, setting up Boy School Q. How many shots? 2 shots, 1 goal. Look at that.
Good man, that's so much better. Going from 8% to 50% at this point. Rezi getting the pass and the bump. And through to get Rick's Ronde as well. Boy School Q just needed to sit there and do nothing. And sit there and do nothing he did. He gets the goal. Fair play.
It's so weird watching that play. We just finished talking about how slow and methodical they are. And can you think off the top of your head of a slower goal setup that you've seen in this tournament? It's just casually bring the ball around the corner. It's like grandma driving.
Not my grandma. She was mental.
Fair. Rezi, big shot here is on the mark. 2-1. Last Resort in front.
That's more like Granny Night, that one. Boy School Q sending it, and Granny Night finishing it, going very quick, sending it opposite top corner as well. From 1 goal to 2, now we see the Last Resort fall behind. Sorry, take the lead, rather.
And they hold that lead. 2-on-1 the other way, and Mike Boy just slides one right by Boy School.
Off the kickoff as well. Mike Boy faking going for the original shot, forcing Boy School to turn awkwardly. He can finish it right behind him. A couple of ones plays coming out from the boys. Now drawn up, level pegging with 90 seconds remaining in game number 2.
Oh, nobody's home here. Rizex could not get the last touch he needed, and that must have felt like it was going in slow motion for him. Just that no as he slips out of his reach.
I want to see more attack come out now, I think, from the lads on Last Resort. They've had some really good bumping plays and a few passes central. That's another one coming in, and they seem to have done them well. Maybe a few quicker passes so that Rick's Ronde does not have the opportunity to come in, just like Rizex comes in to send them in the lead.
Yeah, there's nothing slow here at all. Throw it at the backboard, and Devadam not able to get up for it. Easy pickings for Rizex to give Libertas a late lead here in game 2. Scored 3 goals in the opener. Won it 3-1. Trying to hold on here. Rizex drop down again. Rick's Ronde with a huge bump.
I absolutely adore the demo bump meta. It's wonderful. Rizex, though, completely reading off that sidewall where the defender was going to be putting it. Rick's Ronde doing his best to send Sebadam completely out of the play. 2 goals clear now for Libertas, and they deserve that goal. Absolutely.
First they scored Sebadam, then they put the ball in the net behind him. Rezi looking to get Last Resort back into this game, looking for a flip reset, and Rizex cut him off. Rizex now trying to spring Mike Boy down the middle of the field. He got there in ahead, but Boy School Q barely making the save. It keeps Last Resort alive in this game, but on life support.
Rick's there just sent Boy School dancing as well as Rizex dances under that ball and can get the 5th for Libertas. That pass to goal, always smooth, isn't it?
That is amazing. And Rizex now has 5 goals in the series. Everybody else combined, even his teammates, have 6. Rizex all the way across, just looking for more for the highlight reel. Why not? Can Mike Boy hit him?
Oh,
no,
quite.
He cannot. Disappointing at the end, but a quality win nonetheless for Libertas. 2-0 in the series, and they don't show any signs of slowing down.
Another fantastic win as well for Libertas. I mean, the first game, it started off very similarly, where Last resort, they kept it close. It was fine. It was back and forth, and then a couple of late goals for Libertas, hoping that that was the end of it for them. And this time, Libertas just showing that this late game, that is where they do end up doing a lot of their best work. They secured 3 goals, I think, in the last 90 seconds or so, sending it to 5 goals to 2. And this final game could mean that we continue our trend of sweeps on the alternative stream.
I know, right? By the end of the day, if it is still all sweeps, like, we're going to be bringing actual brooms out on camera. This is, I mean, I guess it's fine, you know. You're in, you're out. Hey, it's a quick series, whatever. But I'd like to see, you know, I'd like to see Last Resort put up a fight here. I want to see Sebadom, you know, show some signs of the old Seb. Like, the old Seb would not let Libertas sweep him here.
No.
I can tell you that much right now. I want to see Sebadom just absolutely go off. He does not have a goal. He does not have an assist in this series. It is time for the Seb show. Let's go.
I mean, Seb is a shockingly fiery character. He is a bit of a legend in the UK scene of Rocket League. He's attended almost every Insomnia out there, one of our gaming festivals. He's gone to the RLCS previously. He's competed in the RLRS as well, and he's now here trying to continue making that name for himself. He was also in the Gfinity Elite Series, one of our premier tournaments that featured in the UK only, and he is not a player, exactly as you say, Stacks, who will just take this lying down.
An opportunity here for Last Resort. Rezi double tap. Bang, bang, as he forces it through.
Oh, that is why this Rezi lad is considered to be one of the most mechanical players on the team. Even with 2 defenders there, Mike Boy doing his best to get involved, Rezi can send it over the top. Early goal for Last Resort. That might stop the flow from Libertas.
2 goals each for Boy School Q and for Rezi. Last Resort has a rare lead in this series. Boy School can't catch up with this. Rezi does keep it in the zone, but he takes a demo. And now, back the other way, Libertas shots high, follow-up is left out in front, but Mike Boy does not dare make it a third man coming forward. He has to go back and contend with this from Rezi. Gets a little help from Rizex. Boy School Q waiting for Sebadom to center, but he can't get that ball to him. So now Boy School, this will drop down, and Rizex is all over it. So too is Rezi. Rezi going to take this himself, and it goes right at Mike Boy.
I love the attempt of the musty flick, showing he can continue to just pull out different mechanics and score in different ways. It means they've got a lot more fire in their bellies. Yeah, Rezi now for the double, but Mike Boy cutting him off.
Now Rick's Ronde, well, that was screaming downfield. He couldn't catch up to it. Sebadom now, as it's on target, requires a save from Rizex. And now Boy School Q, that's an easy clear for Ricks. And Mike Boy can take over. Full tank of boost, but Sebadom disrupts the play. That's going to allow Rezi to try and clear the zone. Rizex not giving him any time to play with at all. And Rezi has to jump in front to clear this away, but not to a teammate. It's just kind of a desperation clear out of the zone. And if you're not playing the ball with a purpose, you can expect it right back on your own half of the field. Is what's happening with Last Resort. It seems like maybe only a matter of time before this lead goes by the wayside, though this is an opportunity. Everybody downfield for Libertas, but Mike Boy just able to get back in time. If that's anywhere near the blue goal, it's 2-0.
On that point of defensive clears as well, we've not seen either team really try and find each other in defense. It doesn't seem like that kind of series. It is hectic. It is manic. It's like my grandma driving, as we said earlier, but it's everything that chaotic Rocket League should and can be. None of this calculated stuff. Let's just hit it hard, throw some sinks, see where we go, lads.
Mike Boy to the backboard. Rizex is there, and so too is Boy School Q. He'll clear that away, but now more opportunities abound for Libertas, so not for long. Rezi, there it is! His shot's on, and Mike Boy able to make the save, but now we're seeing Last Resort dig into that bag of tricks that they've needed to, because conventional shots have not been good enough.
I love that we're seeing unconventional shots too. I don't know if was that a musty flick or was that something different?
It looked like a musty.
It was like it was so
to
low.
my untrained eye.
it properly like scooped it from like really low down. I'm sure there's somebody who watches Freestyle Friday videos in the comments now that's telling me that I'm an idiot for calling it a musty. It's actually a Jason scoop or whatever it's called. But Last Resort, like you said, they're pulling everything out the bag.
Just call it a squishy flick. You're right, like 50% of the time. Here's Boy School Q out of the corner. Rix Ronde tracking, and so is Zebedam. Dab up to the ceiling, and boy, he and Rix Ronde they have been competitors in this scene for a long time, and it's been so fun watching that head-to-head battle throughout this series. As Zeb takes this to the backboard, Rizex there to clear it away, but not out of the zone, and this is great pressure from Last Resort. I'd wager that this ball has stayed on Libertas' end for roughly 70% of this game. It has been a spirited effort from Last Resort to get out of their own defensive end and stay alive in this series. Now they got to hang on for another 25 seconds.
Do we break our sweep curse? It's the question. If Last Resort get this, then we go to game number 4. First time today. As that does get sent high, Mike Boy with a chance. It goes low! Boy School Q bumped out of the sky.
Yeah, I was going to say I wasn't going to count it down because I learned my lesson watching Cole and Subi, but that bump knocks Boy School Q out of the way, and it was free net for Mike Boy to score his 4th goal of the series and tie things up. Absolute heartbreak for a Last Resort squad that was in control for much of Game 3. Now they need to find another answer, most likely in overtime. Mike Boy has other plans. Got this out to Rix Ronde as there's some interference all the way down the field, and ball nowhere near the ground, though this should touch down. No, now it does after the demo by Boy School Q. That had to be therapeutic at the end.
That was very cheeky from Mike Boy as well. Keep it up. Hey, it doesn't matter. We'll see what we can do. But now this is where we see if we continue the sweepage. Zebedam challenges Rizex, who has been such a good player today, and he's going to show that he can still play backwards as well.
All the way down to Rezi. He's got to get out to this in a hurry, which he does. Mike Boy thought about coming out, does back up, and saves Boy School Q's shot. And then Zebedam didn't have any options, and I don't think that was best play, but it's going to work out as the ball stays in the Last Resort end for now. Zebedam throwing one up there. And Rizex has an easy clear. Got to see more passes, I would think, to the midfield.
Yeah, lots of solo plays going on at the moment. Not seeing too much in the way of trying to find teammates. That's where a lot of these teams are much more deadly. Zebedam, though, does find Rezi, who finds Zebedam, who can't get that final touch now. Will this be a push for Libertas? No, Rezi cuts off the midfield, but Rix Ronde cuts off Rezi.
Nobody across the way as Zeb will clear it out for Rezi. Just rolls this all the way downfield. Rezi went up to the ceiling to intercept here. What a read! Now downfield, Last Resort's going to be called on to turn defense into offense. But first, they need the defense. Zebedam not passing to anybody here. Rezi will come up and at least apply some token pressure out to Boy School Q. Tried to roll one underneath, but it goes wide.
This has been more chances yet again for the Last Resort as Rizex demos Boy School Q. Riggs, can he get it central? Rizex is there, but no, the save!
Zebedam has Rezi all the way across. Can't get the ball out to him, but then Rezi just challenges the ball into the net. This isn't even a shot.
It's not a shot, but you take a scuffle whenever you can get it. It pinches off Mike Boy, ends up in. Game number 3 going to Last Resort. And we, as a consequence of that, go to game number 4.
Hey, for the first time all day, we have a series on our hands, Stumpy.
Woo! Good for us,
This time
man.
it's Rezi with 7 shots. There's been a player with 7 shots every game in this series. And it hasn't always been on the Last Resort. They only had 5 as a team last game, I believe. So, it was Boy School Q in the opener. Rezi here in game 3. I think it had to be Rizex in
Must have been,
game 2 with all the goals that he scored. It's just been one guy with a hot hand just chucking the ball at the net. See what happens. And Well, occasionally, yes, it does find its way through. It is possible to score against this Libertas squad, even though they've made a ton of saves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Libertas showing that actually, when it comes down to it, if they are pressured for long enough, then last resort, they will finally find their time to score, and they will do so. But now, we see both teams wanting to... Well, we see one team wanting to go to 5 and one team wanting to end it in game number 4, being Last Resort and Libertas.
Sabadam intercepted by Rizek, but it does go right out to Boy School Q. What a pass over to Seb, and the save is made well out in front. Doesn't mean they're out of danger yet, as Rezi getting a little creative. Can Seb turn on this? No, he's in an awkward spot, and Mike Boy's just going to carry this away from him.
That was a good turn, though, by Seb to go from awkward into the fake challenge into then the actual challenge. So completely mind-giving Mike Boy, and it worked perfectly for him.
Sabadam now, that's going to be just wide. Another shot without a save coming out from Last Resort as Rizex will save this one. Now, Boy School Q, there are 2 demos, only 1 defender left, but Mike Boy clears this away. And even with 1 defender on the field, Last Resort are turned aside, and then Rick Ronde almost turned that into a chance.
So many deft touches over the top from both teams, just trying to catch the defense off guard, because at this point now, if they go for one of those backwards like belly touches and they don't get it, it still needs to be considered a threat. It is credible. They could do it. It throws a spanner in the works for every player on this pitch.
Here's Boy School Q trying to pinch that along the ground, and Rezi instead will pick up the scraps. Sabadam thought about it. He's going to have to turn around. It's a slow turn. He'll be waiting in the middle of the net to clear this ball away from Rick Ronde. Good clear out from Rezi. Indirect for Boy School Q, but Rezi's going to need to take over again, and he's going to need some boost. And he took a little too long, gave up a shot, and very fortunate that that shot was well high.
Good passes coming in, though, now from Libertas. They're able to shoot, score, pass, pretty much the full deal. They just now need to show that they're able to do it all in this match as well. As we approach halfway, then with nobody scoring, it grows tighter, does this match.
There's a lot of going on right now, though, in front of the Last Resort net. Everybody's jumping in front of each other. They're barely clearing the ball away. Boy School Q needs 1 more touch. Instead, he's given up on that because Rick Ronde had him beat. Now Mike Boy, 1-on-3. Easy stop by Rezi, but then he gets 2 demos. So Rezi is left all alone going downfield.
I missed the corner boost as well. Gave it to Rezi. Nightmare for Rizex there. He couldn't move it upfield quick enough. Not as much as he wanted to. And he missed the boost again. Slow it down a touch. Secure the boost. You're not going to do much without it when you need the pace that this game is demanding.
It's amazing how difficult it can be to hit a stationary object in this game. Good intercept there by Rick Ronde. That pass was screaming across, I believe, for Sebadam. He jumps in the way, prevents what might have been the only goal of this game when all is said and done. This is shaping up to be one of those 1-0 affairs. Rezi downfield, and Mike Boy couldn't catch up to it, and that is how the Last Resort takes the lead in Game 4.
What happened to Mike Boy here? Didn't expect Rizex to miss, then he was backwards. Had to half flip round. As he lands, though, the flowers fly out of the net. Not a good sign for him. Last Resort get the first goal. Could be sending us to Game 5, considering how low scoring this game has been so far. But they don't want it to happen just yet. That hits the line.
Oh, and Boy School Q actually put it back in front. He had one last touch. Put it right in harm's way again, and then Rezi is there with 1 more save, but now Sebadam's got to get around Ricks to make the save, and then Mike Boy didn't put it on target.
It was
That's
open.
The other way. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you do not want to watch this VOD back, Mike Boy. Oh, no, you do not, because that was horrendous. You cannot miss that. Not in any situation.
And they have been awesome all series up to this point, and they have just gone ice cold.
Oh my god, they're flipping. They don't know where they want to be. Libertas are bamboozled.
Back downfield. Libertas is not out of this game, but man, missing out on so many opportunities that they have. You could make a very strong case. They don't deserve to tie this game up. How many more chances do you need? Boys School Q out of the corner. Rix Ronde got this centered, but nobody's there except Rezi. Zavidam has Rizex lurking. Can't get around him. 1 second left. Ball's got a touchdown. Rix Ronde makes sure it does not, but Rezi will down it, and we will have not only a 4th, but a 5th game in this series.
You asked the question, did they deserve to get the win? If Libertas did manage to get one? No, to be honest, it was the same as game number 1 for Boys School Q, just the opposite way around. I mean, Boys School had a nightmare, and then he got better. We're starting to see him get himself back into that form. Didn't get the goal in that game, but got the same amount of shots as Seb, who were combined got the same amount as Rezi. Otherwise, every member of Libertas all had 3 shots as well. A very offensive game from both teams and only 1 goal scored. It does speak to the defense of each, but you've got to think back that Mike Boy missed. That truly was one of the most on a platter shots rather, that I have seen in competitive Rocket League. That was a disaster.
There's only so much you can attribute to defense, and when you see that many shots with neither a goal nor a save to account for them, that's unfortunate. There's Zavidam getting his first goal of the series 6 seconds into game 5.
Has to rely on the Mike Boy miss, but he beats out Mike Boy and Rix Ronde. Just lurking central. Sometimes it's what you have to do. I was saying earlier, we needed to see that close shadow for Boys School or from Boys School Q's shots. This time, no, Zavidam just relying on his own passes to get the job done.
11 goals between these two teams, a vast majority scored by Libertas, 8 of them in the first 2 games. And since then, 2-1 to Last Resort, and then 1-0 in Game 4. Last Resort have started playing their way, and it has frustrated Libertas, and to the point where, I think Libertas is starting to kind of rush things, and a lot of self-doubt is creeping in. Rezi looking to finish the job here, and he does!
Rezi sorts out the second goal for Last Resort. Going off Mike Boy's touch as well. In with the double off the mistake. Rix Ronde couldn't quite make it there either. Oh, it's gone. It's out of there. Last Resort, mate, they've gone ahead by 2 now within the first minute. A far cry from game number 4. Now
Rix Ronde. Oh, this is trouble. This is trouble. Rix couldn't put it on, but Mike Boy does.
Mike Boy managing to mop up all the work put in there from Rix and Rizex, the true 3-man play, as Rix also bumps Zavidam out the way, means he's not able to get back in time. 3 goals, mate, in the first 1 minute. These goals are flying in.
The only question now is, can Libertas catch up? And maybe not if, but when, because when they start scoring, they do score in bunches. Here's Rix Ronde, double, no, and Rizex's shot sails well wide again, but this time requires a save from Boys School Q.
This is the match where both teams are really throwing everything. It's taken us till the 5th game in this series to see any teams throw everything, but we're finally there as Boys School Q sends Rizex flying. Is anybody there? Yes! Just about. That ball lurking in that back third for a solid, it felt like 2.5 months as Rezi approaches slowly with 30 boost under Rizex and in front of Mike Boy.
3-1, the lead for the Last Resort. Trying to hold on to what was a very slim lead for just a moment. Boys School Q in an awkward spot. Doesn't have enough boost to get this ball out of the zone, but he at least delayed enough to let his teammates help out. Zavidam downfield, got the dunk through, but it's just wide.
Good chances now coming out from both teams. Last Resort, though, taking more of their chances when they do fall to them. But the attack coming in, the shot going off that side post, being saved by Rezi.
Boy School Q just token pressure. He'll steal some boost on his way through, but Mike Boy has a full tank, and it looked like he had Rezi dead to rights, but couldn't put the shot on, and then a big block by Sebadom keeps it a 2-goal lead for now. Look out.
Another pass.
RLCS, is this on? It is just off the mark, and Boy School kept it out.
I mean, if I'm the coach for Last Resort, all I'm saying is, watch the midfield. My word, are they passing a lot. They're just sending it as often as they can into the middle. They are not going for solo plays right now. If you want to win this series, lads, play smart, not hard.
I mean, what we're seeing right now from Last Resort in the second half of this series, just, I mean, hanging on by a thread. There have been so many opportunities like this that have not found the mark somehow. Another chance for RLCS. Rix Ronde's right there on the doorstep, and Sebadom sweeps this away. Minute 40 to go.
The reverse sweep is looming for the Last Resort over Libertas. It looks so confident, looks so happy from the boys in Libertas, but Last Resort really have turned it on as Rix Ronde drops it toward the goal line. 90 seconds remain, Stacks. It's looking worryingly close to the reverse sweep.
Rix Ronde couldn't get this one through. Mike Boy keeps it in the zone. Another chance to center. RLCS is there. Oh, he goes behind. What a shot from RLCS.
The shot from RLCS and the setup from Mike Boy as well, helped along by Boy School Q, but he gets the double touch into then the bump onto Sebadom. Opens it up wide. RLCS wanting to make our hearts skip a beat by hitting the post on the way in, but now only one goal separates us.
Boy School Q, RLCS, oh, he drops down just in time to stop this one. To Sebadom all the way back. Could not pinch it downfield. This could be trouble again. Rix Ronde forces his way through. Tie game.
Boy School Q getting impatient on the line. The bump attempt comes in. Rix goes below Rezi. Boy School has to creep out from the bump attempt, and Rix follows it up beautifully. That's 2 goals in the last 45 seconds, and now we are even.
Rix Ronde. Big clear downfield again. Libertas threatening to steal game 5 and fend off this reverse sweep effort. Good challenge. Yeah, it's a good challenge by Rezi. Sebadom now backboard, and RLCS made one stop. Sebadom could have this, though. He doesn't have anybody to pass to, so all he can do is just throw that off to the side. Rix Ronde is downfield. Rezi in a tough spot. Does get rid of this. They have to clear the zone. Can't get this off their own goal line. They finally do clear, and we're headed to overtime in Game 5.
Overtime in Game 5. This is one hell of a way to break out of our 3-0 sweeps today. The Last Resort looking hot throughout most of this game, but Libertas, you've got to give them credit, they've started to bring it back. And this overtime decides who's going to be going through to their next chance to make it through to Stage 2. Last Resort have been there before. And Mike Boy wants to give Libertas the opportunity.
So close. By the way, Giants 3-1 over Guild. That team, Vodafone Giants, and Thumbway is through. Thumbway. Yes, sure. Big Z, how's that? Is through into day 2 or week 2 of this regional. As we continue on here, one of these teams will be 1 win away from joining them. Mike Boy for RLCS. This goes all the way through. Nobody could make contact.
This is so physical. RLCS gets an awkward touch. Does send it back toward his own half. Now Boy School Q working his way into the mid. It's just being cut out in the midfield as often as you would like. and the physicality has reached a new level. There are so many bumps in the back.
What a read again by Rezi. He's had a few in this series. Just make you scratch your head and go, really? Sabadam, only one who could make the stop to keep this series going. He does so. But now he's taken out of the play. Rizex up high. Sabadam has respawned. Ball side, but nobody's there. Nobody challenged Rizex, and he absolutely punished them for it.
Rizex given a free shot at that. Seb and Boy Score Q sitting with their thumbs in their mouths towards the net. The double tap from that crossbar as well completely stops the reverse sweep in its tracks. Libertas, they go through 3 games to 2. It's not a sweep, it's a game 5er. They made it harder than it had to be.
4 of those games featured a player with exactly 7 shots, and it was always someone to look out for. In this case, Rizex. I believe in 2 different cases, it was Rizex. Just, hey, when Libertas absolutely needed him, he came through with 2 huge goals, including that overtime winner. That, by the way, his, and you're going to love this, 7th goal of the series.
Hey. 7's our lucky number, mate. I think that's what we've decided.
Sure is.
But it's not the lucky number for the last resort. They didn't end up making it through on this round. But that doesn't mean, Stacks, that they've not made it through at all. It just means that they're going to be going through to have another chance. That's the beauty of Swiss. We will not be saying goodbye to them yet. And Libertas, they will be going through to play another team with a 2-1 record. Their chance to make it through to stage 2, something they were not able to do in regional number 1.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just because more fun with numbers, their 7th game win. All right, we're done with the number 7. All right.
That was the most stacked sentence ever.
More
fun with numbers.
Yeah, here we go. Yep, just numbers nerd. I'm throwing it away now. We're not looking at numbers anymore. But yes, Libertas. Yeah, you're not the only one thanking me. Believe me. So Libertas is through to 2-1. Hey, they did not make it easy on themselves, and Last Resort didn't make it easy on them either. They battled them tooth and nail, especially throughout the second half of that series. But credit to Libertas, when it looked like, Last Resort had all the momentum, especially with a couple very early goals in Game 5. Libertas buckled down, they fought back, and that's the mark of a team that has a chance to make a run in a tournament like this. Definitely.
We've seen them make stage 2 before. I've not got much doubt that they're going to make it again. There are teams in this competition that are ultimately worse than them. They should make it through. It's just that Libertas, in this series, they were the better team. But man, it came down to Game 5 overtime. You could split these 2 team skills by a hair's width. It is so narrow. Guys, if you have any opinions on the games that we have seen so far, make sure that you RL Esports. We don't want to hear your Stacks. We've heard them all day.
Yeah, no, and also, I can tweet this out. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well,
let me know. Where do I go?
I want you to tweet at RL Esports.
Okay.
All right, you got that in?
Yeah, at RL Esports. Yeah, of course, I'm following them, so they come up early.
Yeah, the hashtag. It looks like little sort of lines. Yeah, you got that one.
Oh yeah, the tic-tac-toe thing. Yep.
That's the one. Yeah, the pound symbol. It is RLCSX. Make sure that you type that in as well. And F Dot will be looking at every single tweet. We have told him to. We've been screaming at him, look at your tweet deck, make sure you're monitoring it, and he's told us that he is. So make sure that he's not lying to us. Otherwise, Stacks, we are going to be throwing to a break, and there'll be more Rocket League afterwards. I'm going to be heading over to the desk. Stacks, I think that's you done for the day, though.
Almost. Am I done for the day? I don't think so.
I don't know, maybe. I honestly just made it up, probably.
No. There's more to come. Hello, FGOT. I think Rocket League is cool. There we go.
Good, okay. Well, it was wishful thinking that you'd be done for the day. Everybody
I know, right? No, there's way too much. Look, one more match of me is one too many. I know.
Make sure that you guys come back after the break, wherein Stacks will not be there. We'll see you soon.